I've received many requests to compare these two robot vacuums against each other, which both represent an exceptional value in today's full-feature mid-tier robot vacuum market. My name is Jamie Andrews, and this is the head-to-head comparison of the Dreame L10s Ultra and Roborock QRevo. The QRevo has a retail price of $899, and the L10s Ultra retails for just $100 more. They're both extremely similar in their functionality, specs, and cleaning performance. I'll leave a link to their individual reviews in the description below. In this comparison, I'm going to break these two out into 10 categories and highlight the key differences in each. In each category, I will pick a winner. The first category is hardware. Both robots have an 80 milliliter internal water tank, 350 milliliter internal dustbin, similar vacuum motor power specs, similar lifting mopping systems, and their docks both have the ability to auto-empty, self-wash, and self-dry the mopping pads. The water tanks in the dock on the QRevo are almost twice the size of the ones in the L10s, but more on why that is not that big of a deal later in this video. The L10s Ultra does include a detergent injection tank that takes the guesswork out of pre-mixing cleaner, and a more advanced object avoidance system that also allows you to remote view the camera to check on your pets while you're away from home. Because of these additions, this category's winner is the Dreame L10s Ultra. The second category is carpet pickup. This is where I test the ability of the robots to vacuum carpet. I scattered 54 grams of rice on my medium pile carpet and sent both robots out in their highest vacuum setting to pick up as much as possible. The winner here is the Dreame L10s, which was able to pick up 2 more grams of rice and also achieve a perfect score. The third category is hard floor vacuum pickup, where I scatter 130 grams of cat litter on my tile floor and once again set both robot vacuums to their max vacuum power and sent them out for one pass to pick up as much as possible. The QRevo was able to flip the script, and this time it was the one picking up an extra 2 grams. And while not a perfect result, it was a very respectable score. The winner here is the Roborock QRevo. The fourth category has to do with their mopping abilities. And we'll start with my mopping test performed on tile floor, where I used baked on hot sauce and sent both robots out for 2 passes with their water level set to high. The water used was room temperature without detergent. The QRevo was able to clear 100% of the hot sauce, while the L10s left just a little bit behind, but it still performed very well. So how about those lifting mopping pads? The L10s claims to lift the mopping pads as high as the QRevo at 7 millimeters, but as you can see here, that does not appear to be the case. The QRevo also gains brownie points from me, because when it meets carpet, it pauses to allow the pads to fully lift before proceeding. The L10s just plows ahead, which causes the edges of the carpet to get wet. Both do a good job with water control on floors, but I think the QRevo does a little bit better here. This category's winner is the Roborock QRevo. The fifth category is obstacle avoidance, and their systems are very different, with the QRevo having a very basic object avoidance with single light sensor up front. The L10s has multiple light sensors and an RGB camera. Running them through my obstacle avoidance test on carpet, you can see just how big of a difference there is with the L10s being able to properly avoid all of the objects in the test. Some may not like a camera on a robot, but it is what is needed to have great object avoidance and functional AI. The QRevo struggles to avoid most items, and when it does, it gets way too close. On tile floor, the QRevo does a little bit better, but it is hit or miss object avoidance here. I'm sure Roborock will try to improve the system through future firmware updates. However, don't expect the improvements to be anywhere near the level of the L10s. The clear winner here by a country mile is the Dreame L10s Ultra. The sixth category is with the overall usability of their apps, which both are full-featured and very similar. I will point out a few new features that have been added to each since my last full reviews. For the QRevo, you now have the ability to vacuum rugs and carpets first, and then mop while avoiding the carpets where possible. This is a great new feature that all robots should have. The L10s has a new trick up its sleeve too, with a new option to clean near walls and corners. The L10s will shake its hips and get the pads right up against the wall and corners, which again is a feature all robots should have. But I'm told the QRevo won't get it here, at least in the US. This category is close, but I'm giving the slight edge to the QRevo, which I find has an overall more intuitive and less buggy app. The 7th category is navigation, and by navigation I want to be clear, I'm only referring to the LiDAR-based system on top that allows the robot to map and navigate its way around your home. Object avoidance is not taken into consideration in this category. Roborock leads the industry with navigation, and while the L10s does a fine job of navigating, it can sometimes be less than efficient moving in weird patterns around the house. This is another close one, but it's hard to beat Roborock in this category, and to date, I've not seen a robot that can. The 8th category has to do with their docks, and both have their pluses and minuses, and for this one, we're going to really dig in, so sit tight. Both docks perform the same functions, emptying out the robot's internal dustbin, refilling the internal water tanks, washing and drying the mopping pads. As mentioned earlier, the water tanks on the QRevo are twice as big as the L10s, which on paper looks impressive, but my testing paints a different picture. Here are the results from running both robots through a mopping test, with each test starting out washing the pads, then having the robots return to the dock once in the middle of a mopping job for a mop pad cleaning, and then one final time at the end for the final washing. Each robot has 3 different settings to control the water used by the dock, but that only affects the mid-mopping job cleanings, not the first or final wash. In this test, I used the balanced or daily mopping as Dreame refers to it. As you can see, the QRevo goes through a bunch more water, and in this test, it used 19% of its dirty water tank capacity, where the L10s used only 16%. So based on this data, you will need to refill the larger tanks on the QRevo a bit more often. And because the cleaning solution goes into the clean water tank on the QRevo, you will also use more of that too, which is less than ideal. The larger water tanks may also be a bit more difficult to carry for some people. The L10s includes a built-in detergent tank, which is replaceable and I'm told by viewers even refillable with a little bit of effort. I'm a big fan of this feature and I'd like to see it used in the industry more often. One potential downside to the L10s, using less water, might be the reason why the mopping pads do not get all the way clean, especially in the center. I can't tell if this is due to the design of the included mopping pads or the dock's inability to thoroughly clean the pads with so little water being used here. Next, when it comes time to dry the pads, both docks are able to completely dry the pads and the dock sinks in 2 to 3 hours flat. The way they empty the robot's internal dustbin is similar, however the edge goes to the L10s, since it uses a second air port in the dock to boost the airflow through the dustbin. The QRevo at first glance appears to have the same second port here, but if you look closely, you can see it's actually a blank. I've also heard reports from users that the QRevo can struggle to remove all of the dustbin's contents within homes that have pets with long hair. Another advantage with the L10s is it has a slightly larger dust bag at 3 liters compared to 2.7 liters on the QRevo. When performing an auto empty, the dock can be noisy, and the L10s leads here with 72 decibels from 6 feet away versus 79 decibels on the QRevo. The one place the QRevo really shines over the L10s is with the dock maintenance, which is a bit easier to perform over the L10s. In the end, the L10s Ultra dock squeaks out the win. The 9th category is hardware and software dependability. I hear more complaints from users of the L10s than I do the Roborock QRevo. The QRevo also has a higher rating on Amazon for what it's worth. When it comes to the software, Roborock has always been very quick to fix bugs and make improvements, much more so than Dreame. I'm giving the win to Roborock, although I have not had any hardware issues with either. It's really the software and online reviews that tip the scale for me. The 10th and final category is value, and a few months ago the win would have easily gone to the Roborock QRevo, which I suspect was released as a reaction to the L10s Ultra. However, since then Dreame has lowered its price on the L10s to $999, and like the QRevo can often be found on sale for less. Yes, the L10s cost more than the QRevo by $100, however, when you add in the detergent injection and an advanced object avoidance system, it is hard to argue the value when spending just $100 more for the L10s. Frankly, both offer a significant value, but I'm going to have to give the nod here to the L10s Ultra, which outperforms robots that cost way more without making any sacrifices. In conclusion, going into this review, I knew it was going to be a challenge to pick one robot over the other. Both robots have significantly disrupted and redefined a new standard for a full-feature robot vacuum priced under $1,000. Where I think your decision might come down to is with the object avoidance system. If you don't want a camera on your robot, or you don't need to spend the extra money on it, then the QRevo makes a ton of sense for less money. However, if you value object avoidance, the L10s is the clear choice, and you also get the added benefit of detergent injection, and let me tell you, it's a great feature to have. Whichever you choose, I am sure you'll be pleased with either of these top picks. Links to purchase both are in the description below. I created this video for you, my subscribers, based on numerous requests. If you've not already subscribed, please do so and let me know which robot vacuums you'd like to see in a head-to-head challenge. For my existing subscribers, a big thanks for your support here. Until next time, take it easy out there and be sure to keep a close eye out for some big news from both of these companies. They're not done innovating, folks. Alright, bye-bye.